I think quite a key thing is making the young people feel as though they're being heard and feeling as though they can have an input. Because through my experience, I think on quite a few occasions I felt as though I haven't been listened to. And I've asked things to be changed and no one's even said anything about it, let alone a change happen. So I think it's good that the young people can have an input into the services that they're using. And I think also changes to the services is important because the young people who are participating, they've had their own experiences, whether it be good or bad, so they can point out the good things and the bad things. We can make sure the good things are sustained and sort of make changes to the bad things to improve the services overall.
The main aim would be to feel that we're able to make a difference, to feel that we're able to give something back through our experiences. So things that we've gone through that maybe are positive or negative, we can then give something back and see that it makes an improvement.
Yeah. And how would you see that parents would get that information about the changes that had been made?
I think if they could see the differences, so that they could see that if they then went to an appointment, for example, things were different, they feel like they've been part of it. Or maybe some of the information, the way it's worded or the way you're given appointments, if that changed and you could actually see a physical change, I think you'd feel like you were doing something.
Because I know what it's like from the person that's receiving the services. Because like professionals, they've got all the qualifications and know what they're doing professionally, but they don't have that kind of inside experience. And also it helps other people who are going through it, because I'm sure people have helped to shape the services from when I was there, and so you keep making it better instead of making it more like clinical, more personal and user-friendly.
Main aims of a participation group is to actually affect change, and positive change. And in some ways quantifiable and quantitative change, because parents, I think, certainly my experience of talking to a lot of parents, and I'm a member of a number of autism groups, so I talk to quite a few parents, is that they feel that they will tell people the problems that they're experiencing, but nothing happens. It's talking into the abyss. And so I think the most important thing is to try and put over to parents that if they participate, change will happen, and that there are little things starting to happen, and we all know this will take time, but anything that does change has to be publicised and has to be, the parents have to be informed about this. I mean, a great example that I can think of my own experience, and I've only been sort of a member of the participation group for oh gosh, I don't know, 9 months or something like that. I'm fairly well versed in what's available, but we had a talk about PALS, PALS, which is the Parents Liaison groups. I had no idea that even existed. So after I'd been to this group meeting, I sort of went out and eulogised on this to a parent autism group that I'm a member of. Nobody else had heard of it either. I think there was one mother. So, you know, this is a way that shows that these participation groups do actually work, because you've only got to get one parent there who will then experience something that has changed, something that is available to us to create change, and then go out and tell others. I mean, it's a bit. It almost sounds a bit prophetic. This, doesn't it? It's just standing on a hill, hilltop somewhere in Egypt. But you do have to try and get these views out that yes, if you participate, things will change. This has happened as a result of that. This has happened as a result of that. And therefore, the more information that you give, the more change can happen, and the more things, you know, can be different. There's only one thing absolutely certain, that if you don't, nothing will happen. That is a certain, that is a given. So you can only get better, but it can only get better through participation, and it's trying to get that enthusiasm over to parents that they can make a difference, and that actually they have a responsibility to do that for their child, in the same way of batting for them, you know, in meetings and medical appointments and everything else. It's the same way. It's just a different avenue, but it's terribly, terribly important for your own child as well as for others. This isn't purely. I would hate anyone to think that I was so concerned about the world and everything. Actually, no. I'm a normal mum. All I'm concerned about basically is my child. But by changing things for my child, then I will have, you know, hopefully started a change for everybody else's child as well. And if everybody does that, this is the basis of the internet, isn't it? You know, starting. You have to get more and more people on board, and I think you have to use whatever is within yourself to be able to do that, to show that it will evoke change in the long term. But it will be slow, and we have to just keep working on that, I think.
You feel like you are doing something for people that are going in, even though they'll never know you, or probably never know you, at least you know that you've like saved them from reading a really boring leaflet or not having a doorbell that works. It also gives you good experience for, I know it's not a job, but working for things that are different, because usually you're always just doing school, or college, and now you've got like something that's completely different, and it's good to say that you've done it as well. It gives you something different to like your friends who do like sport, because not many other people do this, so it gives you something different.
One thing could be the range of activities. I don't know if that's what you'd call it, but doing different things, like more creative things, and then talking, listening, interviewing, things like that. I think it's really good, because then different people like to do different things and feel more confident doing different things. Location is important, especially those who can't get transport. Timing is also important, especially for those who are still at school, so afternoon things or weekend things. I think also, if they are thinking of joining, if they have a friendly face who they feel sort of comfortable with, because if they met someone who, I doubt anyone would meet up with them who wasn't a very people person, but I think it's important if the first time, especially if they meet with a sort of a friendly person who can make them feel comfortable with it, and then I think they're more likely to want to carry on.
Okay, tip number one is having somebody from the organisation to facilitate the group, to run it, to help build the link between the parents and carers and the organisation of the NHS Trust or whatever the organisation may be. That person is key, because then they can make things happen and they know how things work. The second one is make it accessible to people in the sense that be prepared to hold meetings in the evenings, be prepared to hold them at lunchtime, be prepared to change venue, just to make it as easy as possible for people to attend. Hence the electronic thing. I think electronic presence is also important. And the third tip is be aware that parents and carers can be in a really hard place. They may not be able to do what they committed themselves to doing, they may not turn up at the last moment, they may turn up and burst into tears, they may, anything could happen. They're in a very tough place. So be aware that that may need to be contained as well. Allow space for that.
I would say that participation is being able to have a say and being part of a group of people who have all had similar experiences, and putting your voice out there and having experiences that you wouldn't otherwise be able to have, And I think sometimes you have to put yourself out there a little bit. So I think also with the participation it helps people build themselves a little bit, give themselves more confidence as well, because it's something that they know about. So obviously when you have a topic that you know about and you can talk about it and you can have input with a group of similar people, it's a really helpful thing, especially I think maybe for those who are struggling to recover or still in the process. Especially if they see other people who have recovered, I think it's a really helpful thing.